For 5.4, we're going to be learning about taking one unit and applying it to others. So we're going to say if they go this far and this long, how far can they go? And we're going to apply it to a new situation. And this is actually one of my favorite things we do. When I was your age, it always really confused me. But then once I learned how to do it this way, I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. So this is one of my favorite things we do, and it's called a proportion. So when something is proportionate, it means that it is the same, kind of like a mirror image almost, or it's equal parts. So if something is not proportionate, maybe, right? Like think of like a portion size, right? Portion, what you eat. So if I gave a little baby a giant steak, that's probably not proportionate to what a baby can eat. But giving that to an adult would make sense. That's a good proportion. So when we're doing proportions, we're just making sure that everything is balanced and equal. So this one says that it takes Kendra 27 minutes to run 3 miles. At that same rate, how long will it take her to run 7.5? So what we want to do is we want to set up our minutes and we want to set up our miles. So here we can see minutes. So I'm going to start with the minutes. So I'm going to make a label for minutes. And the other thing I'm comparing is miles. So minutes and miles. So get your two labels. So we start out with 27 minutes. So I want to put that in the minutes row, 27 minutes. And right, ratios are just fractions, 3 miles. So here we have this. So now I'm going to keep going at that same rate. How long? So how many minutes? I'm looking for how many minutes it's going to take her to run 7.5 miles. So this is the same proportion as this. We're going to find out how much she runs, how long it takes her to run 1 mile, and we're going to just keep applying that same rate. Everything is going to balance out and be equivalent to each other. So if they're not the same, they're equivalent. So we're going to take this and apply it to this. This should be the same ratio, equivalent ratio as this. So here's our proportion that we've set up. So notice, right? Anytime I'm talking about minutes, you can find that here. Anytime I'm talking about miles, you're going to find that here. So I could switch these and I could put miles on top, but then I would need the 3 and this 7.5 on top. So everything needs to match up into its right category. So this proportional reasoning, we're going to do that same problem. So we've set it up here. So remember, a fraction is oh, well, how nice of me. I gave you the answer there. Is a division problem. A fraction is just a division problem. So, right, this says we're looking for this. This says minutes divided by 7.5. So I need to get minutes all alone. So the opposite of divide is to multiply. And I want to get this all alone. So I don't know what it is. So I can't just divide because I don't know what it is. So instead, I'm going to do the opposite. But if I do it to this side, I have to do it to this side. So I'm really just moving this over here. But instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply. So instead of dividing by 7.5, I am going to multiply by 7.5 on the other side. So I want to take this and move it over here because I want this all alone as the answer. Okay, stay with me. I promise it's going to get easier. So we're going to write our new problem, right? I'm going to multiply by this. I'm moving this over here. So my new problem is 7.5 times 27 divided by 3. And that's going to equal the minutes. So if I do it here, I move it over. Opposite of divide is multiply. So I need to do 7.5 times 27, which is 35. Make sure you're doing this with me. 49 plus 3 is 52. Here's my placeholder 0. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. So there's 5, 2, 10, and 2. And I have 1 decimal place. And now we are going to divide that whole thing by 3. So can't go into 2, but it can go into 26 times, which is 18. Left over is 2, bringing down the next number. So 3 goes into 21 7 times. Oops, 22 7 times, which is 21. Left over is 1, bring down the 5. 3 goes into 15 5 times, and there's my decimal. So how long will it take to run 7.5 miles? It is going to take 67.5 minutes. So we're just rewriting this problem. We're giving this over here and then cutting it into 3 pieces, which gives us this answer here. We just set it up and we didn't change anything, right? We just wrote the new problem. Just like we can take a division problem, boom, and make a multiplication with a fraction. Same thing. Instead of dividing, we're moving it over here. Now we have a new problem that gives us the answer here. Now, one thing I noticed, right? This is big and it went little. This answer was 67.5 and it got smaller. It should follow the same pattern. This went 27 to 67, little big. This went 6 to 7.5, little big. If you find one that's not following the pattern, that means you maybe did something wrong. So all we want to do is, right, we take these two that are crisscross and multiply them. And then we divide by the other one. So let's try one more of those together. So what 5-pound bag of flour costs $2.68. My goodness. What is the price of 12 pounds? So I have pounds. So I'm going to put P for pounds. And I have money. You can put C. You can put M. You can put a dollar sign as long as you know what it means. That's great. So what do we have? 5 pounds. What does it cost? $2.68. So we're going to set up our proportion. We're looking for the cost, the price. So I'm looking for this here. What is the cost of 12 pounds, right? Pounds is on the top. There's my 12. So I want to get this alone here, the C alone. So I'm going to take 12 times 2.86. So my new problem is 12 times 2.68. And I'm going to divide it by the other one, which is 5. And that is going to give me C all alone. So I crisscross multiply and divide here because I want C by itself. So I need to take 268 and I'm going to put it on top, even though it's smaller, it has more digits. So 2 times 8 is 16. There's 12 plus 1 is 13. 4 plus 1 is 5. There's my placeholder, 8, 6, 2. So adding up is 11 and 12 and 3 with 1, 2 decimal places, 1, 2. So now I am taking $32.16 and I'm going to divide that by 5. So 5 can't go into 3, but it can go into 32 6 times, which is 30. And there's 2 left over. Bring down the 1, goes into there 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. 21. Bring down the 6. Goes into 16 3 times. So right, I can add a 0 at the end. And that was 15. 1. Bring down the 0. 10. 5 goes into 10. 2 times. And my decimal goes straight up. So if I buy 12 pounds, that is going to cost me $6.43, right? We have one more place here, that 2, but that 2 isn't big enough to bump that 3 up. So it's just going to stay So 6.432 or 6.43. When we're talking money, it has 2 decimal places. So every time we set it up, make sure my pounds go together, my money goes together. Find the 2 that are crisscross from each other, multiply, divide by the other one. Because what we're trying to do is get C all by itself. Let's go ahead and finish up your notes, and we'll keep practicing this, and I promise it's going to get easier and easier.